I didn't like him either. My brother didn't like him at all. I had no problem with him. It was just to a certain extent where I had to like question things. Like I had to ask my mom about certain things. Like why'd she come home with scratches on her face and stuff like that. But Jaden didn't like him at all. Jaden didn't want him in the house. But then again, Jaden, it's not like Jaden was disrespecting him. He still respected him as an adult. He just didn't like him. And Jermaine knew that.
So he never argued with any of you or anything like that?
No. He argued with my mom, but not Jermaine.
When did you start noticing the abuse?
I think it was 2 weeks ago. Or, I don't know. It was a couple weeks ago when I went to my cousin's house and I came back and she had a scratch on her face. And I asked her where it came from. She didn't want to tell me where. But I knew where it came from. Because at that time he was gone. She had kicked him out. But she let him back in. And then the next week, I was sleeping in my bed and I heard a loud scream. And it was like violent. And I called her because I was scared. I just got up and locked my door. I didn't know what it was. But I called her and I asked her if she was okay. And it just hung up. And then I texted her. And she texted me she was okay. But really it wasn't her, it was him. She told me the next day that it was him with her phone and he was beating her. And he was making her lay on the bed and be quiet.
How does it make you feel to hear your mom tell you something like that?
Horrible.
What did you say to her when you found out?
I told her I asked her, I said, why you keep letting him in? And she said she was scared that he was going to do something to her. And I kept begging her to let me tell my dad. She made me promise to her that I wouldn't tell nobody.
Can you walk me through, to the best of your ability, what happened on Monday?
Yeah. I was sleeping. My Christmas lights were on. My TV, my PlayStation was on. I was sleeping and I woke up hearing somebody trying to break in my door. My door was locked. And I saw by the doorknob that it was cracking and he had kicked it open. And he just came in and started attacking me and stabbing me. I was just screaming as loud as I can. That's when he was just cussing me out while he was stabbing me. He had a lot of anger. And my mom came and pushed him off of me. And that's when he hit her too in the head with the knife. But he hit her multiple times to where her head was busted. It was bleeding. And my adrenaline was up so high, I didn't feel no pain until I looked down and I saw blood just gushing out my stomach. And I kept telling him, I said, I need to go to the hospital, I'm bleeding too much. And he said he didn't care. So he made us stand in the corner of my room and he asked my mom for the PIN number to her card. And she gave it to him and she told him, you can have whatever you want, just don't hurt us. And he made us walk with him. First KK came running. He put KK in my bathroom in the dark. And he made us follow him to my mom's room. Me and my mom, we stopped at the stairs. And he was like, come in the room before I kill you. And my mom, she was just like, you don't have to do this, you don't have to do this. I kept telling my mom, I said, we need to leave, we need to run. She wouldn't listen to me, she didn't want to, she was too scared. So she just told me to be quiet and follow her. So we got in the room after he threatened us. He shut the door. He didn't shut it, but like he pushed it. He was like, your brother's already dead, I already killed him. that's when me and my mom, we just started panicking. And we were confused on where all this anger came out, because she did nothing to him. She did nothing but help him. He had nowhere to stay. He had no money. He had nothing. And my mom let him stay in her house to help him. But he was so, like, I don't know how to explain it. He was so controlling. Every time we'd go out of town, he'd call our phone a billion times. He always had to know where we were at every second. He'd always tell her to hurry up and come home and pick him up and do this and do that. So he was asking her what other men has she slept with, and she was yelling at him. And she was like, she didn't sleep with nobody. So I tried defending her. I was like, no, my mom has not been with nobody since you were gone. And he jumped at me again, told me to be quiet. So my mom just told me to be quiet, so I'll just be quiet. That's when he asked for the PIN number to the rest of her cards. She gave it to him. That's when he told us we're all gonna die, and that he's gonna set the house on fire. And I didn't believe he had killed my brother. But at the same time, I know if he hadn't have caught my brother off guard, I would have somehow had the chance to save him. So he tells us to follow him, and we go down. I guess he heard somebody, and he was like, be quiet, follow me. And he took us down to the basement, where my brother's room was, which is the lowest floor. And as soon as I got in the room, my brother was trying to gas for air. He was shaking, and I don't know where he cut him at, but I saw blood near his head and his neck. I don't know if he cut him in his neck. I don't know where, but I just saw my brother, and I just wanted to help him so bad, but I couldn't. He started hitting my mom in the head, and he hit me again. And he hit me in the head with a knife. And at that point, me and my mom, I just looked at us, and we were just covered in blood. I thought we were gonna die. So he was steady asking her, why haven't you answered any of my calls? Why are you playing with me? Stuff like that. And he was like, Alexis, you think everything's funny? I said, no, I'm just listening to my mom. My mom didn't want me to let you in, and I had to listen to her. And he just kept telling me to shut up. He was just cussing me out. He went back to my brother, and he called him a bitch, and he hit him in the head in front of us. He hit him in the head with a knife, and at that point, I just wanted to die. I just wanted him to just kill me already. So we all get up, and he tells us to follow him upstairs. And so I had got up. I was nearest to the door. My mom was next to me, so I had got up, and I was right behind him. And I guess he thought I was trying to run away. He was like, you walking too fast, where are you trying to go? You're not trying to leave, are you? I said, no, I'm trying to hurry up and sit down. I'm bleeding too much. He was just like, shut up, I don't care, blah, 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 y'all all gonna die. KK came running downstairs, and he made us sit down on the couch. and we all had to sit next to each other on the couch. KK wasn't on the couch. KK was standing next to the couch. It was me and my mom sitting on the couch. And I was just looking at the door. I told her, because he was across the room sitting on the couch. I told her, I said, Mom, we need to leave right now. We need to run. If we don't, we're just going to die. And she, I don't know if she knew she was going to die, but she wouldn't listen. She was like, Jermaine, let's just talk about it. He was like, no, there's nothing to talk about. He was like, who wants to die first? As a matter of fact, Myra, I'm finna have you kill your daughter. I'm finna have you kill KK. That's when KK started crying. She was like, I'm too young. And that's when he asked again he got like close to us. He was standing in front of us while we were sitting down. He hit my mom again. And he just started striking me with the knife. At that point, I was so fed up. I just started fighting him. I was kicking him. I was screaming, and he fell on the ground. He fell on the ground, and my mom ran out the front door, and he ran out to go get her. Because, if anything, he wanted my mom to die before any of us. He wanted my mom to die. He just had anger with Jaden. I don't know why he had the nerve to kill Jaden like that. Because Jaden had nothing to do with anything. But he ran out. I saw my mom running out the front door, and I just ran up the street. And I kept looking back. My mom had fell in the middle of the street as well, and he just started stabbing her in the back. And she was screaming, but I couldn't go back. I knew if I would have went back, I would have been dead too. So I hurried up and I went to the first house up the street. They didn't answer. I looked back again, he's still stabbing her. So I go to the next house and I'm ringing the doorbell. I'm continuously ringing the doorbell. They're not answering. So as soon as he took the car, I saw him in my mom's car. He drove past by me. And after he drove past by me, I just started screaming. I just started banging on the door. And finally they answered, and I just ran in the house and sat down. I told them they need to call 911 and send an ambulance to my house. I told them I'm bleeding. They asked what happened. I said, this man was trying to kill us. And I kept telling them, I said, I think my brother's dead. At that point, I knew he was gone. He couldn't breathe. And that's when the wife, she was covering my wound. And the father was on the phone with the police. The police were asking so many questions, and I was just bleeding out. I was so angry. I said, can y'all just please send an ambulance to my house and to me? And they just kept asking questions. At that point, they stayed on the phone, and I was sitting down. And it took the ambulance a little while to get there, to be honest. I thought they weren't going to come, but they finally came. They had cut my shirt, and they put me on the stretcher. When I got to the hospital, I kept asking everybody. I said, "Where's my siblings? Where's my mom?" They told me KK was in the hospital. They said they were gonna find out where my mom and Jaden were. They never came back. So now, I don't know whether they're dead or not, because nobody wouldn't tell me anything. I said, did they even send an ambulance to the house in time? He was just, I know why he was mad at me. It was because I wouldn't let him in. Every time he came to the front of the house and he'd talk to me through the window and say, Alexis, let me in. Alexis, open the door. I'd be like, no. My mom told me I can't, so I'm not going to. One time he got in the house, and he was staring at me while I was doing my hair. I was literally just doing my hair, and I looked, and he was sitting on the stairs just staring at me. I said, you need to leave. He seen me walk back to my phone, and he was like, please don't call the police. Please don't call the police. I said, I'm not calling the police. I'm calling my mom because you need to leave. So he said, I'm finna leave. I said, no, you need to leave right now. He wouldn't listen, so I called my mom, and while she was on the phone, he was like doing how do you call it? He was trying to like make signals like to tell me to lie to her and tell her he wasn't there. But I told her the truth. He was like, Alexis, can you make me a sandwich? Go make me a sandwich real quick. This was I believe the third or second time she had kicked him out. This was before the abuse that I knew of with my mom. This is before all that.
So were they on and off?
Yeah. He was like, go make me a sandwich. I said, no. He said, all right. He said, I got you. And he told my sister to go make him a sandwich. My sister didn't know no better, so, she went and grabbed the mayo. I told her to put it down. I said, Jermaine, you need to leave. So as soon as my mom pulled up, he got out the front door. And she came inside and she called the police. We had the baby. It was my cousin's daughter. We call her Pebbles. And he tried touching her. He tried touching her on her head. And I was like, dude, you gotta go. You don't know this child, and you're trying to touch her. You're not supposed to be here. I said, you gotta leave. So he left, and every time my mom called the police, Jermaine would run off and would never get caught. It's like the police didn't at least try to go find him, because he didn't go that far. He doesn't have a car. He doesn't have family. He doesn't have none of that. And it's like, so every time she'd call the police, nothing would happen. He'd just come back. So me and my mom, we went to the zoo on Sunday. We went to the zoo. He came, he was at the door. He got a ride from somebody, from these two black men. He had rang the doorbell, and my mom didn't answer it. I did, but I didn't open the door. I just went to go see who it was. I didn't see nobody at the door, so I went back upstairs. Then I went back down there, and he was in the door, and he was like, I need to talk to your mom. I said, no, you need to leave.
This is the day before the attack?
Yeah, this is what caused the attack. And he was asking, like, she owes me money. And in my head, I'm thinking, she doesn't owe you nothing, because she was providing for you. You're eating our food. You're using our water. You're in our house. You're beating her up. It was just horrible. And she told him, she was like, the money's in the bag with all his clothes. He took the money and left. The bag was open with clothes. He had asked to charge his phone for a few minutes, but my mom told me to tell him no, that he had to leave. So he changed his clothes in front of the door. And before he left, he did like this to me, like that. And I just told him to leave. I was confused on why he did that, but he was smiling, and he left. I would have never known. I don't know how he got in the house. I know my mom had at least 200 unheard voicemails on her phone. And he kept calling me and I kept declining it. And he was texting me, help me. And I'm like, no. If anything, help yourself. You need help. Get help by yourself. I just didn't text him back. I told my mom, I said, why can't you just block him? She wouldn't. He had his cousins calling her. They was calling her off of private numbers. All that.
And this is after she had filed an order of protection.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's been described as the ex-boyfriend, so they were not together at this point.
No. I mean, my mom doesn't tell me nothing about her and Jermaine. She never told me when they started dating. I had to find out myself. She never told me if they broke up. The only thing she would tell me is if he came back or not. Because I told her, I said, when is he gonna leave? This was around my birthday. I said, so when is he gonna leave? She said, well, he's gonna stay for my birthday and then he's gonna leave. So we waited for her birthday and he finally left. I went to my friend's birthday party and she called me that night saying she had let him back in because his daughter called her saying, give him another chance. I was so angry. I was so angry.
Jermaine has children too?
He has a daughter.
Were you scared of him before Monday?
I didn't know he had the guts to touch us. I thought he knew better. I knew he was violent because he would always tell me how, excuse my profanity, but he'd always tell me how he's a street and how he's dealt with a lot of stuff. And he would always tell me, you know, your dad can't do nothing. You're 16 years old. You can do whatever you want. I'm just like, you don't know what my dad's capable of doing. You don't know me. You don't know my dad. None of that. He would always question about me and Kavion's relationship. It was weird. It was real weird.
How do you explain in the moments that you went through, and do you know about how long between when he broke in and when he took off in the car, how long you were in the house with him?
I didn't get into the ambulance. I know it was 2:14, 2:15. That's when I got in the ambulance because I was staring at the clock. When it started, I honestly don't know. Because I didn't even, I guess he saw me look at my phone and he took it. He took my mom's phone. He took my phone.
How do you explain, and it seems like he was in the house for several minutes at least, that you guys were enduring this. How do you explain the level of fear in that moment?
If anything, at that point, I didn't care about myself. I was trying to protect my sister, my brother, and my mom. I couldn't get to my brother. And my mom, she wouldn't listen to me. And I know if he had killed, I know he's stronger than me at that point. He has a knife in his hand. I have nothing. I can't do nothing but fight back. I know he's faster than me. So as soon as he was running after my mom, I said, I have to run. I have to run and get help. But I wasn't, I was scared, but I was trying to keep my composure.
What kind of person was your mom?
She was caring. If anything, she was caring. She was always helpful. She was chill. She wasn't, like, I don't know how to explain it. She always had a positive attitude. She was very positive. And she was loving. She just wanted the best for me, KK, and Jaden. She was trying her hardest. She didn't care about nobody but us. We were her first priorities. I just wished I had the chance to say goodbye.
What about Jaden?
Jaden was, how do I explain this? He was very, protective. I don't think anybody knew how protective he was until he found out what was happening to my mom. He had a lot of anger. Because while this was all going on, when my mom was telling me about how he was beating her, Jaden and KK were in the next room and they heard everything. At least Jaden heard everything. Jaden wanted him to come back because Jaden wanted to hurt him. Jaden told me. He said if Jermaine ever came back, I want to hurt him because he hurt Mom. And he was, he didn't want to live with us. It was all girls and he was the only boy. He wanted to be with my dad. I think it was for many reasons. Jermaine, the fact that he's the only boy, he can't relate to what we can relate to most of the time. And he had anger in him.
He's a protector.
Yeah. He's very goofy. He's active. He had a lot of friends in the neighborhood. We didn't get along at times, but he knew that deep down inside we loved each other and that
Alexis, the last thing I'll ask you is, I know this has been incredibly difficult to you, and it was so brave of you to do it. What made you want to share your story?
because I want everybody to know the truth. I don't want nobody trying to put two and two together. Neighbors and all. I don't care if the neighbors think they know anything. I don't care if my mom's friends think they know everything. I experienced this myself with my own eyes, and I want everybody to know the truth. I'm not lying about anything. So I don't know if Jermaine has his side to the story, but he's violent and he's a cruel person. And I just hope he gets what's coming to him. Because if anything, why would your first priority to kill a 13-year-old in his sleep with a knife, off guard, and then bring us to the scene and hit him in front of us and call him all these types of names when he didn't do nothing to him? Nothing at all.
Anything else that I didn't